Whiners, it's me, P. Welcome back to Adultish Wines, a sort of adultish podcast. It's safe to whine about all things here, big or small. We whine about everything. Friends, family, dating, mental health, trauma. Want to share your wines of the week? Send it into info@adultishwines.com or slide in my DMs at adultishwines. New episodes every Thirsty Thursday, and if you know what's good for you, make sure to subscribe to get notified of new episodes. I'm gonna need more wine. Happy Thirsty Thursday, whiners. It's your girl P, honey. I'm drinking a delicious, what am I drinking? It's a Chardonnay. Don't say that about Chardonnay. I know you're thinking, nobody drinks Chardonnay. Yes, we do. This is lovely. I'll talk more about it after I drink the whole thing. I mean, not the whole thing, but the whole glass. But it's from a local Houston winery called Nice Winery. So I'm a member. I'm an adult. Pretty cool. Welcome back. I need to update you guys on so much, really. But like what I want to talk about is how I recently became aware that I grew up in a family. This is such a weird realization that I'm having at 35 years old. I grew up in a family where basically like being curious, having questions, interests about life, like we just didn't have them. This is coming from a conversation that I had recently with somebody who, it was a great conversation. I want to preface that, like, great conversation. It was an hour and a half long, maybe even longer. And we started talking about they started talking about like the purpose, our purpose on this earth, in this world. And I was like, in my head, like before I like really got the chance to speak, I was like, I mean, my purpose is like be a good person, have good vibes, like work hard, have a good podcast. Like my purpose is just like get up every day. Like I don't drag myself up to get out of bed. Like I just get up and go kind of thing. Like I'm pretty healthy-ish. Like I don't know. I surround myself with good friends, good family. And they were like, no, but like, what's your purpose in this world, on this life? Like when you pass away, what will have been the purpose that you met? You know what I mean? That you fulfilled. And I have to be honest, it was such a challenging conversation for me to have. And I'm so proud of myself, by the way, because this is with a person of interest, wink, wink, like, from the male human species. And I think that it, like, when I say I want to get deep. I want someone to understand me. I want to like ask questions. I want someone to know me, and I want to get to know somebody. Okay, I'm really getting to know this person. And it's so good, but it's so hard because all these fuckboys that I've been messing around with, like they don't be asking me about my purpose on this life, on this earth. So anyway, the conversation was, what's your purpose? And I was like, well, like I said, like, be a good person, do this, do that. And then he was like, well, what's your purpose? Like, do you, like, especially with your faith and things like that. And as y'all know, I don't really like super subscribe to church. Like, I don't go to church. I believe in a higher power for sure. I believe that there's something down below, something up above. I believe that we are being judged for the good things that we do and the bad things that we do. And everything happens for a reason-ish, right? But like, I don't go to church every Sunday, and like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I just saw recently somebody talking. It was a street interview, and it was like, name a Bible verse, and I'll give you $20, and like nobody knew the Bible verse. If somebody walked up to me, I think I would just fall flat dead. Like I don't know anything about the Bible. Anyway, it really was like an interesting conversation because, and I just didn't have an answer, and they were like, well, what did you never asked your parents, you never asked your mom, you never asked your grandparents, like you never just wondered, like, what are you doing on this earth, or what happens afterwards, or what's the point of life kind of vibes. And I was just like, honestly, I was a little, typically I can make fun of things, like, not in my life, we didn't do that, like, and that wasn't the vibe of the conversation. The vibe of the conversation was like a serious good vibe. And so I was like, I don't think I've ever thought about that. And I guess I'm just still wondering like what the best answer is to this question. I'm still trying to, I guess I don't have a purpose after all, after all this. He's like, no, you have a purpose. He's like, you just got to find out what it is. And I was like, as far as my parents and growing up, my mom, like, obviously I didn't have a dad, as you all know, not involved in my life. And then my mom, like, and my grandparents, like, it was just basically, I just realized that we were a family where nobody asked questions. We just went through this life of my mom adoringly, love her to death, a drug addict. My grandparents protecting us from that, not talking about it for sure. Me and my sisters didn't talk about the fact that my mom was a drug addict. They didn't talk about it even without me. You know, we didn't talk about all the crazy things that were going on, like my mom not coming home from the grocery store and like not coming home to take care of us and leaving for days, and my grandma not talk. Like, nobody talked about anything. It was just like a normal everyday life. And so no, I never asked. I'm wondering what it would be like to have a family where I asked questions about life. Like, I do remember asking my mom one question. I didn't even remember this until this conversation I was having with this person. I had asked my mom one question. I must have been, I don't know, maybe 9, 10. She was cooking something on the stove, not meth. I went over and sat on the stool by the stove, and I said something about when are you ever going to get a boyfriend? The look on her face. And I was not somebody who got yelled at by my mom. Like, I was the golden child. But the look on her face was absolutely, don't ask me that again. And I never did. And I never asked another question, with the exception of, you know, can I go over to my friend's house? Can you do this for me? Can I do this kind of thing? And then my grandparents themselves were just very, like, I don't know how to describe them, just like Midwestern folk, you know, like they were from, oh God, where were they from? Michigan? Minnesota. Interesting. I forget. See, didn't ask questions. I don't even know where these people are from. Midwest, I know that. They are meat and potatoes type of people. And my grandpa specifically, like, I would say stoic, but like I would also say like not personable. I would also say like closed off, you know, didn't express himself. But my grandpa was a World War II vet, and I vividly remember this. I also didn't remember this until the conversation I was having. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was a cool conversation and it tested me. But I remembered asking my grandpa, he had a framed article of World War II, an article. I don't know if it was him or his friend, and my sisters might know more. But I remember asking him about it. I don't remember what I asked, but I remember asking him about it, and he got out of his chair and he walked out of the room. No words exchanged. And I think at the time I just thought I was in trouble, and then for asking a question, I guess. I didn't know why. And then my grandma came in and told me never to ask him any questions about the newspaper article ever again. And I never did. So I don't know. And so basically, and my grandma was just like a hard ass. Oh man, a hard ass, but love my grandma. But like, she was giving you tough love, you know, from afar too. But she was just absolutely amazing. I think she had a little softness in there for all of us girls who were dealing with such a chaotic life, but we didn't talk about it. So she just protected us in the way she had. But I just thought it was super interesting, and honestly really proud of myself because I didn't run away after that conversation. I actually was like, that was a really cool conversation. In the moment, I was like a little stressed. Like, I had to get up and like go walk Paige because I feel like I had to do something with my body. Like, I just didn't know. I kind of felt like I was doing something wrong. Actually, I kind of felt like in my childhood, like, don't say something wrong, don't do something wrong, you're not going to be liked. And that was not the case at all because I said everything wrong-ish. Not that my opinion is wrong, but like, I just didn't have a good answer, and it was okay. And it was okay. You don't have to have the right answer. So I just thought that was interesting that like some people really had that childhood where you could like go talk to your parents or elders in some capacity. But I'm very excited for my guest for today's episode. Her name is Allie. She created a brand and a business basically coaching people through their diagnosis of herpes. And I'm going to be honest with you. She reached out and like there was no hesitation. Like, of course, I wanted to have this conversation. It's not a conversation that I ever thought I was going to be having necessarily, but like that's what Adultish Minds is all about. Like spreading awareness. We're all more alike than we think. Like somebody is going to listen to this episode who has maybe has herpes and never has said that word out loud. And like, I don't even think, like, I don't know when I go get a pap smear or something, I'm just naive on the topic myself. And so I'm very excited to have this conversation with Allie. And again, that's what Adultish Wines is about. So let's get into it. Winers, as you all know, sometimes we talk about hard things on the pod, and the stigma around mental health is one of them. That's why I love having BetterHelp Therapy as a sponsor. There is no shame in the therapy game. You don't need to have a serious clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety to go to therapy. You can just be a regular, degular human with regular human-ish to figure out. Therapy can even help you with just everyday tools for everyday life, which is kind of what I'm on right now. BetterHelp mission is to make therapy more affordable and accessible. And I know finding a therapist can be the most intimidating steps of starting the journey, and that's why BetterHelp is so great, because it's online, remote, and you get matched with a professional therapist in days. Use the link in the description of this episode or go to betterhelp.com/adultish. It's really so easy, and honestly, it's going to feel so good when you check it off the list. Don't be scared if you don't like the first therapist you come across, because that's one of the things I was worried about. Like, what if I start with a therapist and I'm talking about my whole life and then I don't like them? They'll rematch you easily. You don't have to worry about what insurance network, blah, blah, blah. So if you need an unbiased professional to vent to, or whether you have anxiety, PTSD, depression, family issues, I think BetterHelp is a really good place to start. Click the link in the episode description or go to betterhelp.com/adultish. That's betterhelp.com/ADULTISH. Love you, Winers. Allie Mazur.
Yeah.
Dang, I just asked. It's so hard. It's so hard, people's names. Welcome to Adultish Wines.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and cheers.
Cheers. What are you drinking? Some hot tea?
I'm drinking tea earlier on this end. I was like, I need to start with tea.
No, you're totally fine. You don't need to justify yourself to me, honey. That's what I always tell people.
It looks really good. So no,
it honestly is. It's a local Houston winery that I discovered out here, which I'm really enjoying. So, but tea is totally fine. And you're in California, so it is what time? Earlier afternoon there for you. So amazing. Welcome. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. I already kind of gave you a brief intro to my winers, and I was just like super honest with them. And I was just like, I feel like I've been super naive to this topic, even for my own health. And like when I go get an exam or a pap smear, like I'm like, all right, cool. All right, bye. You know, like it's just in and I don't know, it's just in and out. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this conversation. So you have been living with genital herpes for 10 years, and you basically made a business, a brand out of helping people through, or coaching people through their diagnosis. Like, this is not the end. We got this. I can help you get through this. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly
right. So
it's
called Beyond Herpes.
Yes, because I want them to move beyond. Like I have moved beyond, but the irony is that I still talk about it every day, but that is so everyone else can move beyond it like I did.
Yeah, but like, don't you feel like you've kind of taken the bull by the horns and like you're going to own this? So
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, I guess let's start with that journey. I know that you were young, because you're very young right now. I mean, you're also very beautiful, sun-kissed California. Oh, damn.
Thank you. I'm telling you, it is. Like I get here, I lay out one day on a Saturday afternoon, and then it's come visit.
Jealous about that. Jealous. Okay, but yeah, let's start with, I guess, where your journey started with herpes.
Yeah. So it was about 10 years ago. So I'm over now. I'm 35. So I don't know. When I turned 35, I was so triggered that I now find myself like saying it all the time as if it's going to like make it better. It's not working. Like I tell guys immediately, I'm 35, by the way. And, it's like stupid. It's like guys like young girls. I should probably not say that.
That is so funny. I'm 35. I don't mind it. I kind of shout it from the rooftops too, actually.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. We can get into that later, but I wanted, later. So I'll go to the herpes thing first, because I know I'm very excited to share with listeners some juicy stuff. So when I was 23, I got genital herpes, and I was living in New York. I had moved there, a few years previous, and I was living the New York City lifestyle, had an awesome job, had great friends, social life, whatever. And I was a virgin until about 23. But I was that girl who, I wanted to save myself for marriage, but I was still like sexual, I don't know, flirtatious. I would date a lot, whatever. And
Okay.
it was when Tinder first came out, and I hate to give it a bad rap, but I mean, it was literally the very beginning. Met a guy, went on a few dates, and decided, I look back and I'm like, this was the stupidest thing ever. But I thought, okay, things aren't working out for me. So maybe it's because I'm holding back sex. So for some reason, it was not worth it with him. Was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna lose this virginity, whatever. Flash forward within a month and a half or so. I don't know actually if it was him or someone else, and we can get into the details later. But because I did have sex with someone right after, I don't know if it's kind of that thing where you're like, oh, I lost it. Oh my gosh, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was, but whatever. And I found myself in the gynecologist's office in horrible pain and confusion. And it really, before I knew it was herpes, I was just in pain. I was just like, what on earth is happening?
Like in your vagina, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Like couldn't walk, like couldn't
really
pee. Yeah. And I don't want to scare people on here, but I also want to be real about it and get into like, yes, it's okay. You'll get through it. But also, if you don't have it, you should listen to this podcast and learn about it, because it's really traumatizing pain, like physically, to get it. And it did take a lot for me to get over it and love and like my vagina again. Because it was in so much pain. And I know people listening who have had it know the pain. Like I would have done anything to stop the pain. So anyway, so I go to the office, the appointment, and they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, you have herpes. Like, not a big deal. Everyone has it. And I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. And they did the blood test to confirm it, because I was like in denial. So a few days later called me, yeah, you have herpes. And I just remember feeling so like the initial feeling being, no one is going to love me. And I don't know why society has painted that picture. I really don't remember any other. The pain went away almost. It was like the pain, the physical pain was overtaken by the emotional pain of feeling like no one would ever love me again, because I was tainted with this physical like leprosy on my vagina. And it's not true. And I to this day, even after working with hundreds of people and talking to so many women, it's really hard to get to the bottom of why the word herpes carries so much weight and is so heavy. And when you get it genitally, it's so different than the cold sores, because cold sores are the same. It's like, right. Well, it's HSV1, but about half of genital herpes is HSV1 now. That's an interesting thing that's happened in the past 20 years. So, if someone has HSV1 in their genitals, the shame and that's the type I have comes with it. Whereas when I talk to guys about it and I'm like, oh, I have herpes, even if they have cold sores, it still feels different. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah. And it's in a different location. Sure. But, anyway, I feel like there's so many, that's how I got it. That's when I got it.
To the puzzle.
Yeah. Exactly. It's hard to know where to go first.
Like how to sum it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess from what I know about herpes is it's sexually contracted, or orally contracted, and you should tell the person that you think that you got it from. Yeah. Or the person that you've been most recently kind of active with. That's kind of the extent of the knowledge that I have.
Yeah. But the crazy part is that you're right. You're more knowledgeable than most people, because some people, I think people know that, but they don't. A lot of people I talk to are like, well, I don't want to talk to the person who gave it to me. They're like in denial about it. So then that person goes and spreads it more if they don't know they have it. So, because you can also spread it without knowing you have it. And just because that's kind of scary too, but to clear it up, how like when you go get tested for STDs, it depends on the clinic you go to or the urgent care, like it's a total toss up if they're going to test for herpes or not. So many people think they're testing for all the things and they're not. testing for the herpes, they're not getting a positive result or a positive or negative result for herpes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so herpes can be there and there's no signs.
Yes. And so not to make it too like it's more contagious if there's signs. Like if you've just had an outbreak or if you feel one coming on, that's when someone's not gonna sleep with their partner because they know they might pass it to them. But then you have to wonder, well, then how are so many people getting it? Because I know I would never be like, hey, honey, let's have sex. I have a sore on my vagina. Like I wouldn't even want to because it would hurt.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it is true that it can spread when you don't have it, but the what I help the most with is coaching people to realize the signs that their body would give them when they're about to get an outbreak or when the virus might be shedding. So the virus, it's called shedding. It's just a common virus and it starts to come out if your immune system's run down. So like that's why with cold sores people are like, "Oh, I had a rough weekend or I was up a lot or I partied a lot or out in the sun and drinking with my buddies." And you start to learn the signs and you learn, oh, this is just a common virus. It pops up when you're run down. And therefore, how do I prevent my body from being run down a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Whoa.
I know I'm like kind of just throwing it all out there, but then we can go into more.
No, it's good. So 1 month after losing your virginity, you contracted I mean, that is just like I would feel devastated too, so I can imagine that, and then from what
Yeah.
I know about you, you did say I think you are religious, right?
Yeah.
Was
Yes.
that kind of a part of it too?
Yes, it was, it's such a up and down roller coaster that ends beautifully, or I mean, that's never really the end, right? But,
Yeah.
I grew up Christian, Catholic, and I did feel a sense of, I think, an even deep, I'll say, Paige, like everyone feels the shame and the guilt when they get it. Like I don't see really a difference anymore. I used to think it was because I was religious. I felt guilty for having sex before marriage. I think it's like I don't know. I don't see a difference between my religious clients and my non. We all kind of feel
Okay.
this sense of shame. But it's interesting, right? Like you would think
Yeah.
I thought at the beginning of my work, oh, I'm going to probably mostly get girls who had like purity culture, and no, it wasn't. And I realized after I turned to God and asked for forgiveness, because as part of me as a Catholic, I went right into confession. I talked about it. It was more just a like God forgave me. I forgave myself. It was more a total misunderstanding of the virus and how like it makes you think that like you're just dirty. Like
Mhm.
and I was
And I really can't even say where I first learned that from, like, I have a
right?
few friends throughout my life who have contracted sexually transmitted diseases, and
Yeah.
I've never felt like ew to them, but it's just like, "Damn, shoot oh, what do we do? Like, what are you gonna
Right?
do?" Like yeah, it's just kind of like it does feel very final. So
Yeah.
how did you deal with that, I guess, in the first little bit before you overcame this and then created a business to help others? Like, obviously, there's a roller coaster that happened there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a wild one. And the first I would say what I did initially was turn to family and friends. And so whatever, phase you're at in life, it's going to look different, but being able to talk to people about it is huge. And I know a lot of people are like, nope, it's herpes. I want to keep it to myself. I want to deal with it myself. That's not what I see. I see the more that I can get my clients to talk out loud about it, to say herpes out loud to me, and then to go, I like give them, I'm like, okay, your homework this week is to talk to one friend about it or to tell your sister about it. And it just like cracks open. So anyway, I told my parents, my mom and dad. I'm very close with them. My dad's a doctor. He's actually like my unofficial medical advisor. So
Of
if
course, thankfully. I need
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those.
So he is amazing, and he's an ER doctor. So he sees herpes all the time. His nurses see it all the time. And so my first thought was like, I just want to know that other people have it. So I went running to
Mhm.
dad, and so glad I did. I actually left I mean, yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I was so shook up. I was working at Foursquare. Is Foursquare like a thing at all anymore? I don't think it is. It was like Yelp, Foursquare, like the
Oh my
cool
god. Yeah,
check-in.
I remember.
Yeah. I had this like
Oh.
awesome job. And I was so shook up that I told, I don't know, a lot. I like needed to leave. I went home for 3 months and my boss was like, why? Like, what's wrong? And I said, I think I have ovarian cancer. I was so scared. I know, biggest lie I've ever told. Because the
Oh
poor guy's
my
like thinking I have
god.
cancer. Looking back, I've never told anyone that out loud, but that's all I was like, so ashamed. I mean, I wasn't gonna tell him I had herpes. He would have probably been like,
Yeah.
"What? Not a big deal."
And you were so young, you were 23, like, you felt like the
Yeah,
world was crashing down on you.
yeah. So, yes, that was the beginning of the roller coaster lie, which is bad. And I later told him, "I'm okay. I just thank you for letting, me be." I
Yeah.
moved home for about 3 months. I knew I wanted to live in New York. I just needed to be with family, and I went deep on learning about the virus, studying it, and I just remember so many nights in my bed, like, and on the doom scroll, like, in that there wasn't really social media, but it was like Google searching, and there was I learned good information about how common it was, and just that it was in the same family as chickenpox and shingles, and there's 6 strains of the herpes virus, and everyone has, like, most people have some form, and there's actually worse strain, like all this stuff, right? And I'm like, why is this so bad? So bad. So I think a big part of my healing was knowledge. Like, knowledge is power. Um, and then I decided, after watching the one TED talk I could find, like the one video online I could find about it, my healing, I think, started pretty quickly, because I've always been an entrepreneur, and I decided in my mind, I am going to start a company, or I'm going to be an advocate or be a speaker to spread information about the herpes virus. And even though it took me several years to get to that point financially and where I was living and my situation, in my heart and in my mind, I knew that I was going to get over it, because the world needed it. If that sounds so like dramatic, but it was very
No,
like
it
a
I think it
profound.
sounds fittingly dramatic, like, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, the world does need that. The world needs
Yeah,
people in all spaces of their lives, or catastrophes that are happening, or great things to share, because if you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know.
yeah. And then your friends, like,
Wow.
I work with young women, college age women, and they're crushed, and my heart, like, I feel so horrible for them, but at the same time, I see the glimmer of, I can feel it when they talk to me and they realize they're just going to be the one that their friends turn to in their 20s, like, because eventually they're going to be open about it, even if it takes a little bit of time. And
Mhm.
there's this human desire to want to, like, help others. And it's like, it's so crazy how I see that as the way that people, like, start to heal, is when they realize, oh, one of my friends, she seems always weird when people talk about STDs, she might have one, and now I can help her, or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you get over, basically, like, the victim mentality? I know you mentioned that.
Yeah. Um, I think sharing, talking
Okay.
with guys, sharing with men, like, once I started dating, because the victim is thinking, "Oh, I am tainted. I'm never gonna find love.
Mhm.
Why would this happen to me? I was this perfect virgin, whatever. My friends are sleeping around. Why aren't they getting it?" Like, judgment, like, these are evil thoughts and feelings towards others. But when I started to get the feedback, and I know this isn't like, the woo woo thing everyone one wants to hear, that you can just do it on your own. But for me, it was getting the positive reinforcement from dating, and men saying, "Oh, that's okay," or "Thank you for telling me," or "I have cold sores, so I get it. I have herpes too," or "My brother has it," or, hearing this over and over. The more you date, you realize, "Oh, I'm going to be okay." Like, um,
Mm.
so I think
And that's also what you help coach people through as well, right? Like, how to bring it up
how to bring it up.
on
Yep.
dates, or with their significant other, or their family, right?
Yeah. Cause it it does matter. Like I have this guy, this is a quick little anecdote about why it matters how you talk about it. Who I met, I don't know, whatever. Met this guy on a surf trip. I'm a surfer, and sexy surfer guy. And he was, when I told him I had it, because we were just chatting about what we do for livings, and I was like, oh, I'm a herpes coach. And he was like, wow. And he had like herpes 1, so he had cold sores. He got it, and he was like, it's so interesting because he said, when you talked about it, that didn't make me think any differently of you. It didn't make me like I could kind of tell he was like, it made me, we were being flirty. We were like flirting. It was like a flirtatious thing. And he was like, but I have to be honest, when someone told me about it a few months ago, I was scared and I didn't want to date her, but it was because she was so ashamed and scared of it herself. And when she brought it up, you could tell she just hadn't even accepted it herself. And it's okay to be upset or emotional when you talk about it, but it's not okay for yourself to be like truly not, because if you can't accept that you have it, then why do you expect someone else to accept that you have it?
Yeah, you got to back yourself kind of vibes. Like you got to come in strong.
Yep. And that confidence is, I mean, in any kind of thing, like, yeah, I have herpes virus, like about 1 in 4 people have it, and more women have it than men. I can tell you, one of the things I do with clients, I pick their top 2 facts that they want to share because they're scared, they're nervous. Like they want to, be prepared even if they get nervous. Top 2 facts, pick your location, how much of your story do you want to tell, or do you not want to include how you got it? I mean, there's stories that are like too much to tell. Like people can get it from really bad situations.
Right.
Or some people are like, no, I want to tell the whole story because so I help people decide like how and where and when and stuff.
Okay. And have you ever had to deal with, or maybe you can speak to, a story with a client where they dealt with a very bad reaction from whether they were on a date or something like that? Have you had, or is it just not that bad? Reactions are just not that bad.
Nope. And I would, say it, like, I would say, if I had, I would say it. And I will say, I'll share my own, because I probably talked about it more than anyone else because it's what I do. And because unfortunately I've still been dating and haven't found the love of my life yet. I've gone on, and I've been on hundreds of Hinge and Tinder dates and just searching for the perfect Christian man. But I have heard some rejections on my end, but it's not ever like rude or in the moment. It's always like a subtle, oh, I think that bothers them, and there's deeper reasons why, and I'll never really know. Like, I'll never, like, there was one guy, and he was really paranoid about like viruses and germs, and I could tell because he would be cautious in public areas, and that's okay. Like, some people are nervous about that stuff, but I just had a spider sense. I was like, we're not gonna, it's not gonna vibe. Like, I'm like the one like not wearing masks during, it was like we dated during COVID. And so it was very easy to see who was nervous and who wasn't.
Right. Just complete opposite sides of the spectrum there.
Complete opposite. And then I was like, okay. So when he finds out about this, it's just, so it didn't hurt me that bad personally. Cause I was like, it could have been anything that he would have been weirded out by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And then can you educate us a little bit, on some facts with herpes? Like I was under the impression that you had to be on like medication for the rest of your life.
No, but that is what a lot of people think. So you're not in the,
I just assumed, and like, I don't know where I got that tidbit from.
Yeah. And maybe someone, like there are people who were told by their gynecologist that here's Valtrex or Alcyclovir or whatever it's called, different things. And it will suppress the virus. So it's called suppression therapy. And yes, I have seen, and I think, and, not speaking as a doctor, but just from what I've seen, like after talking to so many people and learning and gathering lots of data, it seems to work for some people and not work at all for others. So it doesn't, like, what's the point in using it? I had a client who was taking an aggressive amount every day for years and still getting outbreaks every every few months. And that's not common. Like herpes does slow down. She had autoimmune issues and she had other complications. And so then that's what we worked on. And I helped her get set with an amazing naturopath. And like, it's always a
Mm.
puzzle to figure out, okay, wait, if you're getting those outbreaks and you think you have to take the medication, there's something else going on. Most people I work with don't want to take it because there are side effects. So I help them address it without the medication. And of course, if they're taking it and it's working, that's not my lane. They can still take it. And then I help them with still like bolstering their immune system, talking about it when dating, all the things. But I always feel nervous talking about this because people are going to be like, who are you to but this is what I've asked some doctors about and gotten like, well, it's fascinating. Even no one really knows, but I think of it as the herpes virus has many strains. Like it's passing from person to person. It's like changing and mutating. When COVID came out, whether we believe in it or not, I really don't, but that's okay. I'm just saying it. It had different strains, right? So like you had to get like the booster or the second, like the shot was changing. The herpes medication has been the same forever. So like it's something to think on and wonder about. I'm not saying that's how it works. It's really skeptical to me. Like when I see it work perfectly for some people and work zero for other, you have to wonder, is their body and their strain just not reacting to it? Like what's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
So you can live a full and sexual life off and pain-free life off of medication.
Yes. Yep. And if you're still getting it, yes. And 99% of the time, I would say, but you can't, it's not just like, oh, I'm deciding to do that and I'm going to go that. You have to make some changes. Like if the virus shows up in the first place, because about 80% of people have the herpes virus and don't know they have it, like of people who have herpes. So yeah, I read it yesterday in NPR. And so it's an updated stat. And so most people are walking around with some form of the herpes virus, but they've never had an outbreak. So they would have never needed to get tested and they would only test positive in their blood for the antibodies. Like and it might not even show up. So if you're getting outbreaks, it's because something is off. For me, when I was in my 20s, I think it was a combination of like the trauma from losing my virginity. It was emotional. It was like physically, like I thought my vagina was too small and it hurt. And it was this whole thing. I was drinking copious amounts. I was partying like crazy.
Mm.
I had major gut issues. Like it wasn't like I was this pinnacle of health and I got the virus. Right. So once I made the changes, though, and going back to kind of your first question, like I started to feel so much better when I started eating better. I got rid of my sweet tooth. I like didn't drink every night of the week, like just things like to live a healthier lifestyle.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. So you mentioned that you're single. You haven't found the love of your life in a good Christian man.
Yeah.
Are you in Christian Mingle? Have you tried that? Is that a thing still?
Is a thing. I don't know. I always feel like it's like the creepy people. I don't know. And I'm Catholic,
I mean,
so
but
I
it's
try.
like oh.
What?
You're Catholic.
Yeah. But I like to I'm the loving Catholic that likes to think that God, wants us to all be not like, I'm Catholic or you're this, but.
Oh, okay.
But it's crazy. But I ultimately
You're
do.
inclusive.
Yeah. But it's heightened in my world, in the theology world right now.
Right.
It is a very hot debate topic of like, Catholicism is the true Church of Jesus Christ, which I do believe. And I've gone back and forth. I've left the Catholic Church. I've come back. I've left. But when it comes to dating, it makes it hard because there are people like I would be open like to work. Like, come on, I'm 35. I want a partner. I want to bring beautiful, amazing children into the world if that's God's will. And if I'm dating a guy that's not Catholic, I'm open to like, we can have healthy debates on our own. Like but I went on a date with a guy a few weeks ago and he wasn't Catholic and he was like, nope, you guys are a cult. It's you worship Mary, like whatever. Just like he was not in for it. Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
and I
That's a
know.
whole other topic.
We
Okay, but so would you
I think
date
people will be
somebody
interested.
who would you date somebody who is, like, not religious at all? Like, for example, me? I mean, not that like, I am not
Um,
I am not religious at all. Like, I don't go to
yeah,
church,
yeah,
I don't identify by any church. I'm spiritual, I believe in a higher power, but, like,
yeah. I think
would you be able to and still exist well in your Catholic, I don't know the words,
well,
sorry,
yeah,
like
my interior world, like, at
yeah,
this point, I'm holding out, like, I wouldn't, like, I
okay.
really do want,
It's really
but
important to you.
it's really important to me, but also I'm very open to you don't know where and why God puts you in places. Like, when I told my family I was moving back to California, they're like, "What are you thinking? Like, you're trying to meet a Christian guy, a Catholic guy. Why would you move back to California?" I felt like it was just I felt called to move back here, and I have met few, not many, like, people. I have a friend that has been wanting to come back to church with me, and it's just like things like that. And it's I can tell, even if it's a little bit harder in the dating world, to me it means the happiness that is in my heart when, like, someone's like, "Allie, can I come to church with you?" Like, I don't know, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth more
Okay.
lonely nights.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so when
Yeah.
you're dating well, first of all, do you meet people at church?
Not that much. I'm not gonna lie. It's so hard. Yeah. I don't I
Dang.
know. It's hard. But okay, but just for an example of the herpes listeners, the guy that I was dating that said no to, or was like not down with the Catholic thing, he knew I had already told him I had herpes, and he was fine with that. So, like,
Okay.
it's just a
Yeah, so, I mean, I kinda wanna get into that. So when you're dating and you're meeting these new people, like and I know that this is something that you do with your Beyond Herpes coaching, when do you suggest telling the person that you're interested in, like, what date number, or is there a date number, or is it just when you feel
yeah.
comfortable? Like, can you kiss? Should you kiss, like,
Yes.
before this?
Kiss, kiss, kiss. You should, and I mean, if you have oral herpes and you don't, most people with oral herpes don't share it. It's so common, and then you might pass it to someone. And I think, for better or for worse in society, it's kind of just like a risk that people take when they're kissing. Like, they're not expecting, "Oh, you didn't tell me you had cold sores when you were 10, and you might," but if someone that goes down on you and they can give you it that way, then, like, I would hope someone would talk about it.
Yeah,
But, like, right, but they don't, is what the data I've gathered. Um, and I think telling someone when you feel like you can trust them with your personal information, not that it's a secret, but it is something that not not everyone needs to know. And, like,
mhm.
if they're a good like, if they're trustworthy and have a good character, and you feel like you can comfortably talk to them about it. And, like, I would argue I wouldn't be going on a bunch of dates with some guy you don't feel that way about anyway. So,
Hopefully.
yeah, right? So when you
Yeah.
get to, like, then I think there's this tipping point, right, where you feel like, "Oh, but if I wait too long, and he's gonna be like, why did she not tell me that?" So I think, like, 3rd or 4th, like, I think, but I think it also depends. It kinda goes back to the Christianity thing, just because that really there's a huge difference in society today between, and, I was all my 20s one side of it, and now the past few years I've been on the other, so I know both sides. I think if you're dating casually and you're open to having sex after a few dates, if you're like that's your thing, then you should tell, like, on a second or third date, and it should be pretty much out there. But if you're waiting until marriage or until engagement, or, until you're at least in love, which I am a huge proponent of these days, is you don't need to tell, like, you can wait a little bit. It's really
Okay.
personal. I like to throw that in there because I want people to not feel, like, so pressured to talk about it so soon.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think
Yeah.
that's good. So what's your typical type besides a good
Um,
Christian or Catholic man?
yeah, so I have historically liked, like, guys that are a lot older. I think I told you, maybe I feel like I told you this in an email or something. But, I'm trying to to like break my type. Have you ever had to do
How
that?
old? Because you're 35, so what's older?
Well, so my ex, so the guy that I fell in love with, like the most love with, I guess, like the true love of my life, but not love of my life. Like, I don't, how do you say that? Like my one love thus far. He was
Yeah.
51 and I was 32. So this was like
Okay.
an 18-year difference. And then it kind of put me on this and yeah, I shouldn't, that might sound crazy to some people. I've had boyfriends that were much closer in age, but what I've realized looking back, and it's only been a few years since we parted ways, was it wasn't that I'm attracted to older guys. I'm attracted to a man that can like make me feel so supported, so comforted, so taken care of. And financially, sure, yes, like that was a part of it for this relationship. Like I just knew if I was going to be with him, I would be safe and be able to have children. And even though he was older, like, and they would be provided for, and I wouldn't have to be so stressed about money or about safety because he was like worked out all the time. And how do I say this? He just like was so wise too and like knew how to show up in situations. And I felt so since then, it's been hard for me to not be attracted to guys that are a little bit older because unfortunately,
Mhm.
I don't like we can get it like there's guys in their 30s now, they're still like children. And it's like I'm waiting
I
to see.
really I really like, I agree with you, but I've dated older, like 40,
Yeah,
41,
yeah.
and I've dated younger, like 29, 30, and I've had equal
Oh,
poor experiences with both or equal fine experiences with like, I just don't think age has that much to do with
I,
it, and honestly, at
yeah.
this point, like, I think the younger is not younger is better.
No,
Um,
no.
but, like,
Like,
so I'm 35, like, I don't mind dating someone who's 30 because maybe you're less jaded, maybe you
yeah.
aren't all so caught up in why are you 40 and, single
Yes.
still, like, so or 51 but also, I totally don't mind if you're older and you've been divorced because it shows you do have commitment and, you've
Yeah.
maybe learned from something, so I don't know, that's interesting, it's an interesting take.
Well, and I agree. Oh my gosh, if I met someone who was that mature and at least was like on track and to be the head of a family and like I would date them. I think you're right. I think I just haven't for whatever reason. I think it's purely too. It's not anything super It's like I was living in North County, San Diego. For anyone who knows this area, it's
Oh, beautiful.
beautiful. It's expensive. It's hard to live here as someone a bit young business owner. And when I surf, all the guys out in that water that live around here and surf are like they're like almost retired. Like they're like they've made it. And
Wait,
it's
honestly, I used to live in Manhattan Beach, California, and so
yeah,
I not quite the San Diego laid back vibe, but,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, some good-looking men
yeah,
surfing that water. And you surf? How cool.
yes. But you know what I mean? It's like literally the pool you're swimming in. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like 30-year-old that's I mean, yes, there are, but like enough millionaire 30-year-olds surfing on a Monday afternoon. Like, and that's the thing I had because my flexibility, I was also
Right.
surfing at time. Like, I don't know. It's just, that's where I met like a lot of the people I ended up dating. So yeah, hopefully I can meet younger people
I hope that for you. I
somewhere.
mean,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
I want to shout out I did date an amazing guy that was 36, perfect age for me, right? I was 34. This was pretty recently.
Okay.
And he had herpes as well. That's how he found me. And he was a total amazing man as well. Uh, I don't want to give too many specifics just because I don't know, for privacy, for him, for
Yeah.
like the herpes thing, just
Yeah.
in case. But I know he'll probably listen. And I want to give hope to girls out there. Like these men do exist and they exist.
Aw.
Um,
Yeah.
he lives really far away, somewhere very north that not in this country. And it was a really
Okay.
hard decision, but for some reason it didn't work out, or at least yet it didn't.
Okay.
So,
But that's
but
good. A little glimmer of hope. It ain't
I'm
all
going down
bad
to
out there.
Yeah, chipping down.
Going down in age. Okay, good. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're about to play a game, Wine or Fine, and because of Power Movers, who is a sponsor of this episode, I can tell you with 100% certainty we're not going to be whining about moving today. Moving is the worst. I don't know. You've moved New York
A
to
lot.
California back and
Yeah,
forth, so it's the worst. You just like never think you have as much stuff as you have. Thankfully, I didn't have to move myself. Power Movers came through and helped your girl out. These gentlemen were fast, efficient, and somehow still friendly. They handled everything with care. Nothing broke. If you're moving in Houston, do yourself a favor and call Power Movers for an easy and fast move and tell them Adultish Wine sent you. Allie, are you ready to play Wine or Fine?
I am ready to play it,
Okay.
and I just love your vibe, and you're so laid. I want to be like more laid back. We're almost done. I feel like I'm like,
Oh my God, who, me? You got to switch from hot tea to wine. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm like this not on alcohol too, I think. Okay, this is something that I'm so sick of seeing on dating apps, but like it's going to divide us, okay? You're
yeah.
either on this side or you're either not. So wine is obviously it's a no, fine, you're into it. You're okay with it, okay?
Okay, wine is
So
fine. Wait, wine is your
wine
okay.
is a no, like we're whining about it.
Yeah.
Fine is yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So pineapple on pizza, wine or fine?
Fine. Fine.
Okay, me too.
It ends up in
On
your
dating
stomach.
apps,
Like
it ends up in your stomach. Okay, you're not a picky eater.
together.
I love pineapple on pizza, but on these dating apps, it's like it becomes people's very like, tell me something controversial. And it's like, I like pineapple on pizza and I want to throw them off a building. Like,
Yes. Okay,
that's
but
a
how much
controversial
more
thought.
yeah, I'm like, can we like I pass. I pass. I'm like, guys, and or my number one worst one is when I know the best spot in town for do you know what they usually put?
Tacos.
Yeah, I'm like, I are you 5? Are you like I can't. Like I like literally pass. Like even if they're like everything else is perfect. Catholic, perfect age, perfect like gone,
Because
done.
you just didn't take the time to actually answer the question, right?
Yeah, or you picked you thought that was a good representation of yourself. I know the best
Right.
spot in town for tacos and margs. Like, okay, sorry, I'm hating. I
No,
just
just no. No, I agree.
we're helping guys.
Okay, wine or fine? Peeing in the shower.
Fine,
Me
fine.
too, every time.
Every time, because your body gets like relaxed and then you pee. It's great.
Yeah, I just have to go. Okay, camping. Real camping.
Not really fine. But you know what? I'm gonna get caught in a big lie because it is my dream to camp, like with a strong, amazing man who's gonna keep me warm at night. So I say it's fine, but I've never like really camped, so I can't say.
That's hilarious. Okay, but you're open to it.
Yeah.
You've never camped outside in a tent, but it's fine for you.
I did once in college, and actually this is why it's a lie. I did once
Okay.
in college, and I was so cold, and, in the middle of the night, and it was supposed to be my spring break trip. I went with, like, the group at school that was, like, the outdoor adventure group. I was, like, kinda nerdy, and, I called my mom the next morning, and she picked me up from the island, and we went to a shopping weekend in Charleston instead of and I left the camping trip.
That's hilarious. Okay, well, let's talk about this again after you finally go camping with this big burly lumberjack man that you're looking for. Wine or fine? A no-shoe household.
Like, it depends, like, I think it's good. I think it's wine if it's like no, I think it's fine. I think it's you mean like they're like no shoes, like they're just one
Yeah,
of
like, don't come to my house. Like, take your shoes off when you come to my door.
yeah, I think it's
You're fine with it. Okay.
fine.
Dating app photos having a time limit expiration. Like, you can only have, like, a photo that is, like, 60 days recent or something.
Oh, good. I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
fine.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
necessary. I talk all the time about this
yeah.
one photo when I was back on the dating apps. I saw this guy, one of his photos was him in front of a Sears, and I was like, "Sears has been out of business for years." And
And
this
why
photo
was
is
he taking
so
that picture
also,
anyway?
why yeah, why did you take that photo? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, that was fun. Okay, now it's time for the wine of the week, so I hope you're ready, and it's brought to us by Adam and Eve, because how are you gonna whine about free gifts? So, we are pro sex toys on Adultish Wines. Are you pro sex toy? No? No sex toys?
For you know what? I'm totally pro sex toys for married couples and for yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I am.
Exactly, whether
They
it's
can
for
spice
solo
up your
play.
marriage or your
Yeah, solo play, partner play, a gift. Hello, bachelorette gift. Adam and Eve
yeah.
is giving adultish listeners a spanking deal. See what I did there? You get 50% off of one item, 3 special bonus gifts, 6 free movies, and free discreet shipping. All you have to do is go to adamandeve.com to get 50% off of one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping. That's ADULTISH at adamandeve.com. Maybe that'll be you soon for your new partner.
Okay.
What's your wine of the week?
Okay, so on it is on the dating topic. I didn't know we were gonna. I'm sorry to keep it on dating, on
Please.
but wine of the week. So I went to a speed dating event, and I think I hear they're hot now. I don't know. I thought because they were popping up that like maybe it would be cool, and it was a Christian speed. It was a Catholic speed dating event actually in LA. It was
Okay.
bomb. It was so cool. I mean, it was a really cool group of people. It was like after this big event that I went to, but the event itself, the wine is that I cried during it, like literally started tearing up in front of the fourth guy I met because they were all so young and they didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know if this is a big enough wine. The wine was the dating app company. Like they should have been like, yo, you're the only 35-year-old. Like, and
Oh,
no one,
like how young were they? Like 20, like
like
21?
there was one like 22, 25. Like after the third one, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm 35. You're so much younger and you're so sweet. And I'm so excited for your future. And let's just let's like ask me dating advice. Let's go. Yeah. So I paid
Oh
70
my
bucks
god.
to go to this speed dating event where I was like, Mom Allie gives advice. And
Oh.
yeah, I tried to like sink in and just, reapproach it, but it hurt. It made me it made me whine, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you felt so defeated, I feel like. I
Yes.
can relate to that.
And
Actually,
I
someone just sent me a night out. They were like, "Oh, let's go do this," and the other girl in the message was like, "Those people don't look anywhere close to my age. I'm not going there." Like, it's
yeah,
a thing.
it's a thing. And yeah, I signed up for another one in a few weeks and I already, paid and stuff. And I'm like, but I signed up before I went to this and I'm just like, what do I do? Like, I don't,
Ugh,
it's painful. Like, what's
maybe you can give your ticket to somebody else.
true? That is a really good idea. A simple but brilliant. But
Yeah.
also then don't you feel like I feel like as a single person, we're supposed to just keep trying and trying and trying. And at what point though do you just like I feel like if I don't go, what if the one person's there, But
Yeah, so true. Like, I am the person to try, try, try. But I also do think you need to, like, try in your lane. Like, so if you know that
yeah.
this is not gonna be, like, the most beneficial use of your time, like, maybe instead of going to do that, maybe go and sit at a coffee shop for 30 minutes or,
Yeah.
a bar or, like, a movie in the park or I don't know, maybe try something new, like, besides surfing, which is fun, surfing, but, like, try a new
Yeah.
hobby.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so you're so right.
I'm
And
just
I yeah, I also need to
and
get back
also,
on.
like, what do I know, you know? Are you on apps?
Oh yeah, I will, but I do the thing where I delete them and swear them off for life. The
100%.
yeah, yeah. The last one, I just think it's
100%.
funny. I'm going to tell you because I think it's funny if we have
Yeah.
2 seconds. So the last one that set me off was a guy who seemed really cute and good, and we matched. And I have my things set to like same like Catholic and views or whatever. And so I was like, okay. And he's like, whatever. But his first prompt was like, okay. Actually, I feel silly saying this because it doesn't sound that bad, but his first prompt was like things are important to me or something, and it was so long, and all it was all his favorite ways to drink beer, like beer pre-shower, beer in the park after this, beer before this, beer on a date night. And I was like, are you like advertising that you're an alcoholic? Like I don't understand. Like it wasn't just cute and deep. Like I have no judgment about
Ugh,
drinking, like it was
these
like,
boys.
they're just dumb at like what to put. Like he probably
I
was a
think
really
that,
nice
like,
guy.
maybe he thought that that was, like, a good conversation starter, like, something like, "So you really like beer?" And, like, maybe there was gonna be something else from there?
But like we were saying earlier, It shows me nothing about you except that
Nothing.
you really like beer. And like, does he think that even a woman, I love that we're on adultish wines. I used to, I don't drink so much anymore, but I love wine. Like, but it wouldn't, and I love like different varieties, and I used to host wine tastings, but I would never think that was like the number one thing I had to like talk about.
Advertise.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it just sounds a little California boy. I mean, I'm from California, so I can say that.
But it does. It does. Okay. I need deep. Sorry. That was my
Knee deep.
other wine.
No, I get it. I'm with you. Okay, tell the whiners where they can find you to just kind of maybe find out a little bit more about Beyond Herpes, but if they wanted to reach out to you as well, where can we find you?
Yeah. So on Instagram, and doesn't have herpes in the name. So it's at Allie_Beyond. My website is Live Beyond Herpes. So it's just what you want to do if you have herpes. You want to live, like she said earlier, a vibrant, amazing, thriving life full of juicy, amazing relationships. LiveBeyondHerpes.com. Or you can email me, but email's on my website. That's easier. Email me,
Okay.
reach out, book a free call with me, and I do like free 15-minute chats to see if you want to work more with me.
Okay. Yeah, this was super interesting. And I think, I'm confident that someone who is even curious about the topic, maybe they've had it in the past and they haven't had a breakout, or someone that is newly diagnosed, or maybe someone's scared of getting it, I think
Yeah.
could benefit from following you and hearing a bit more about it. So thank you for coming on. I do just have to highlight, I mentioned earlier that this wine was from a local winery. It's called Nice Winery in Houston, and it is delicious. It's a Chardonnay. I know Chardonnay gets a bad rap, but it's absolutely lovely. And every bottle helps support the Rose, which is a nonprofit providing breast health care in Texas. So basically, you're doing a good deed while you're drinking the wine. So highly recommend if you're in the Houston area to check out Nice Winery. And that's it. Thank you for coming on, Allie. You're so
Thank
cute.
you. Well, no, I'm thinking about the wine. I'm like, is it buttery? Is it dry? What do we have? Is it?
It's buttery, slightly oaky, and typically sometimes with Chardonnay, like I prefer a more crisp Chardonnay, but this is pretty lovely. I like it. So I'll definitely get it again. I'll definitely choose it my next shipment. But thank you again for coming on, and we'll see you next week, Winers. Love you. Bye.